Hello everyone, this is Jesus Quesadilla and welcome to Gamer Talk. This issue has already been discussed thoroughly, but I thought I'd add in my own 2 cents anyway. First-person shooters are easily one of the most popular gaming genres in the United States, and probably holds its own pretty well in the rest of the world as well. While the genre's existence didn't start with the Modern Warfare series, it's evident that Call of Duty played a huge role in elevating shooters, setting the standard by which all subsequent releases have been judged. Now, whether or not this is a good thing is highly debatable, but the fact remains that Call of Duty is considered by many to reside in a class all its own, having sold over 55 million games across its entire franchise. Now, while sales figures alone don't attest to the quality of a game, they at least show that there is some element of the Call of Duty formula that is profitable to producers and addictive to gamers. I'm not the only one that has noticed this, though. All of you have probably seen the rather disturbing trend of copycat games that attempt to shallowly recreate the Call of Duty formula. Many game developers appear content to rehash the tried and true formula of this current generation of modern combat first-person shooters. However, what has resulted is an oversaturated marketplace where new releases struggle to define themselves and make themselves unique. What used to be an exciting genre has perhaps gotten a little bit too caught up in striving to replicate the success of the past instead of looking towards the opportunities of the future. So the question remains, what can be done to salvage the lack of creativity in current first-person shooters? Well, I'm no game developer, so take the following with a grain of salt. But here are just a few of my thoughts on fundamental ways FPS gaming could be improved and diversified in order to offer a wider range of engaging experiences. Number 1. Do away with the tropes of current FPS gaming. Kill streaks, regenerative health, the gritty post-apocalyptic Modern Warfare settings. I realize that some of these concepts and elements have come to be accepted as hallmarks by gamers, but hear me out. By removing or altering a few basic mechanics, things that we all take as standard, the entire psychology of how a game is played will become radically different. Although not what I would call a game mechanic necessarily, picture this. What if a game was made that does not track your kill-death ratio, but instead only your win-loss ratio? Without KDs to obsess over, I'm willing to bet that a lot more players would play objective-based game types with the intent to win. There are many little tweaks that can be made to refocus a game's direction in this manner. Number 2, carve out a niche, but don't hide behind a gimmick. A good example of this is Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike understands exactly what it is, a high-intensity, heavily skill-based tactical multiplayer shooter meant for hardcore fanatics. It excels in this niche because that's all it tries to be. Conversely, some game developers make the faux pas of trying to generate false innovation through a gimmick that does not function well enough to help define the game. A good example of this would be Brink. Many anticipated that the parkour-esque movement would help Brink to stand out from the pack, but did it? Well, no, not really. It played like any other first-person shooter, just with some clunky, poorly executed running mechanic that actually hampered enjoyability in most instances. The difference here is that Counter-Strike's gimmick, for lack of a better term, was not tacked on. It embodied the gimmick of being a competitive multiplayer shooter, and therefore a lot of development time was spent ensuring that the game met the highest expectations for games in that category. Meanwhile, I'm not sure that Brink's developers really knew what they wanted it to be. Though some of their ideas sounded good on paper, not enough emphasis was put into developing those ideas in a meaningful way that actually showed in the finished product. Number 3. Incorporate elements of other game genres. We've already seen a good deal of this, particularly the way that first-person shooters have adopted elements of RPG gaming. Stat building, class setups, leveling up. I think we can all agree that these classic RPG mechanics have added a lot of depth to the experience of first-person shooters. But hey, why stop there? Perhaps we can delve further into what genres can share with FPS gaming. Take, for example, the Search and Destroy game mode from the Call of Duty series. Perhaps, instead of a simple progress bar for planting and disarming the bomb, your character could engage into a short puzzle minigame. In this way, a level of skill can be added, forcing you to become proficient at the minigame in order to more quickly disarm the bomb. You'll feel the pressure as you realize that shaving off those few critical seconds could be the difference between a win or a loss for your team. Now, I understand that maybe that idea isn't appealing to some of you, but that's fine. You see, my point is that since RPGs contributed so much, maybe taking a page from other genres could be to our benefit in helping to freshen up gameplay as well. Anyway, that's all for now, guys. If any of you out there have thoughts on first-person shooters, feel free to share them in the comments below. I look forward to seeing your responses. If you enjoyed this video, you can also head on over to my channel, and while you're there, you might also want to subscribe. That way you can stay updated on new videos that I release. Well, thanks for joining me. Until next time, this has been Jesus Quesadilla, signing out. Peace.